and I shall deliver, sailors. We're doing our Q&A today. Um, if this is your first time meeting me, hi, my name is Eve80. I am the Enterprise ship girl for VFleet. I am the reincarnation of the CV6 CVN 65, as you can tell from my rack, my ribbon rack, and the future CVN 80, which is going to be the Gerald Ford class version of the USS Enterprise. So I am super excited to answer all of your questions. I want to do a quick dry run of some of the questions I get frequently asked while I'm on stream. First off, I was a sailor for 4 years on active duty in the US Navy. I was on board at the USS Abraham Lincoln, which is CVN 72. And during those 3.5 years, because the other half of my 4 years was spent in training, during those 3.5 years, I did two deployments, one workup period and one maintenance period. So my first deployment, I met the ship in the Middle East. I flew out to Bahrain, and then they flew me to Oman, and I flew to the ship and I caught the wire, and catching the wire is horrible, by the way. I am not built for that. It flung me forward. I flew. She was a fairy. But so I met the ship out there, and I did 7.5 months of that 10-month deployment. So 2019 to 2020. I had to think about that for a second. We got in right before the pandemic hit. Then we rolled into our maintenance period, and then I did workups with the ship. And by that point, I was a communications watch officer. So I was in IT, but I was in radio, so I didn't do, like, networky shit. I did, like, magic skywaves, SATCOM type shit. And, so that second deployment, I sat as one of the communications watch officers, and, that was a Westpac deployment, so think South China Sea, Japan, Philippines, Guam, a lot of fun, and on the back end of that, we did RIMPAC, which I wanna go back to RIMPAC so bad. Not gonna lie. Good old days. But yeah, I again was an IT. I got out as an E5, so I was an IT two, and I feel like I hit most of them. I wanted to see if I could do that all in one shot. If you know anything about me, I just let shit fly, man. I let shit fly. There we have no strategy here. We just say fuck it, balls to the wall. But if there are any questions regarding that, feel free to drop them below. And yeah, so let's get into it. I am going to read off these questions from when they were submitted. So we're just going to go down the line. All right, sailors. So our first question is, hey yo, it's Zulu. And my question is, what is your favorite band? Oh gosh, it changes. Honestly, it changes as much as I change my underwear. Which, by the way, every day. If you're not changing your underwear every day, I anyway. Anyway. So I do love me some Ghost right now. I have a Square Hammer like stuck in my brain. Ghost is so good. So good. Love me some Ghost. But I also love Vision Video. If you don't know Vision Video, 100% look it up. I'm just obsessed with them. They are a veteran goth band. Or rather a goth band where the lead singer is a veteran, and he is super cool. He's super awesome, and I really want to see them in person. They are on my fucking bucket list. But if I had to pick just two, it would be Ghost and Vision Video. All right, our next question is, they did leave their username. Oh no. Okay, well, they asked, are you a Shellback? Yes, I am a Shellback. I received my Shellback at 00 South. And let me look over at my certificate. I'm cheating. 8329 East. I actually have it sitting on my desk. But maybe I'll block out my name and I'll post it. But I do, funny enough, also have a picture of my Shellback t-shirt that I created. This is probably the most artistic you will ever see me get. I am really good at stick figures and nothing else. But I don't know, something in me, I just got a creative bug on that first deployment, and decided, fuck it, Baby Yoda's big right now. I want to paint Baby Yoda. So I took some paints that we got from a care package. They were not water safe. But it didn't matter. The t-shirt got trashed anyway. If you know anything about the Shellback ceremony, you're not keeping the clothes on your back. You're gonna get nasty. I also can't talk about the Shellback ceremony. It's just kind of, if you know, you know type thing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I 10 out of 10 would do it again. And my second deployment, we were supposed to do it. We were supposed to cross the line, and I was going to be on the other side and be a trusty Shellback, and I was so excited. I had one sailor, by the way. This is not hazing, okay? We're not allowed to haze anybody anymore. So it's not as bad as the old-fashioned Shellback ceremonies, but I had one sailor, and he would run everywhere. I mean, this man would run up the ladder well, he would run through the O3 level, and you know, if you've ever been on a carrier, the O3 level has something called knee knockers. I'll insert a picture as well. And he would just fucking run. I don't know what it was. And so I was gonna put what they call a button, where you just kind of draw a circle on their t-shirt, and I was gonna write blast off underneath it, and he would have had to run to the nearest Shellback. Oh man, I had so many buttons planned for my sailors, but that one in particular, I was so excited about. Honestly, that's probably all I can say about the Shellback ceremony. But it is a lot of fun. I 100% would do it again, and it's probably one of my fondest memories, being on the Lincoln and being on that first deployment, because not gonna lie, that first deployment was not very much fun. What other MOS would you like to have or thought would be fun? Ooh, okay, so, fun story. Before I got my IT contract, I had an HMDA contract, which is Hospital Corpsman Dental Assistant. And honestly, I was pretty pumped about that. I really, really wanted something tech. I had worked at a dental office, like, in my life prior to the Navy as a teenager, just doing like medical billing and coding, and like dentistry did interest me, but it wasn't where my heart was set on. I really, really wanted to work with computers. I love computer programming, and I did computer programming in high school as well. I was president of the nerds. I was president of the computer programming club in school. So I really wanted to work with computers. And so I also looked at, I believe they renamed the rate, so you guys can correct me down below, but I really wanted to be a CTN, Cryptographic Technician Networking, and they are super cool. They do some super secret squirrel shit, but essentially a little bit of ethical hacking here, a little bit of, you know, learning exploitations there, which is actually what I ended up doing after the Navy in school. So I did eventually get to what I thought would be, you know, the cool rate on the civilian side, but I don't know, I was kind of torn. A few of the other ones I was kind of off, like I was offered CTR would be pretty cool. My roommate in A school was a CTR, and I'm trying to think outside of like combat or like intel rates. I think that's pretty much it. I really, really wanted to be either intel or combat systems. And I ended up in combat systems. Alright, next up. Are your mods homies? Or are all the mods homies? Yes, all the mods are fucking homies. Unless you piss them off. Which, by the way, shout out to our mods. I haven't been able to shout out the mods because obviously I'm living in the YouTube space now instead of Twitch, for at least temporarily. But shout out to our mods. They do an absolutely fucking fantastic job, not only in our streams and in chat, but also in our Discord as well, keeping everybody safe and just being fucking awesome people. So yes, all the mods are homies. Just don't piss them off. All right, we've got another one. Hi, Eve. Long time no see. If I were to be on your crew, on your carrier, like I'm the fighter pilot, handle armory, distribute food, or spray foam, when the plane catches on fire, what's your reaction? First off, I don't know who posted this. It would give me a lot more context because I do know quite a few of your names. and I can kind of like figure out what you would be based off of how you act in my chat. I don't know if anybody has ever told you this, but asking somebody's rate in the Navy is kind of like a horoscope. Like, there's just certain personalities and certain types of people that exist within certain rates. I don't know how else to explain it other than it's kind of like a horoscope. But I will say on a ship, like even if you have one job, you don't. You actually have five. Every sailor is a fireman. You may hear like every marine is a rifleman. Well, every sailor is a fireman. We are all trained in firefighting and damage control efforts. But even when I was on the ship, like as a communications watch officer, not only was I that, not only was I just a regular IT and radio who would go off and fix anything and everything that touches my domain, I guess you could say. But also, I was in charge of my sailors' training, so I was their training petty officer, so I had to input their like qualifications and assign them qualifications and get them on the right track, and also give them the annual training that we have to do within the Navy. But like other jobs and stuff like that, there's like repair parts petty officer or RPPO. They're in charge of ordering repair parts for the division and handling supply. Let's think of some other collaterals. DCPO, which is damage control petty officer, they are assigned all the damage control maintenance. To be honest, my division, anybody who is DCPO qualified, we all kind of got our shit kicked with that. Oh gosh, I've looked at one too many fucking fire bottles. One too many. To the point that when I got out into the civilian world, I started checking the periodicity of fire bottles. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like kind of ashamed of that. Like I would check the tag and make sure they weren't expired. But essentially you just have a ton of jobs. There's not just one job that you take on. Everybody pitches in on the ship and everybody does their part, and you'll never just be one thing. Also on a ship, like you can go temporary duty, TAD. You can go down to the mess and go cranking, which God bless anybody who's cranking right now. I never was in the mess cranking, but all my friends did. And I feel bad. I ended up going to Cableway team, which is a tiger team. Tiger teams are like painting team or deck team, but I ended up going to Cableway team throughout our entire PIA. So for 9 months, I was just looking at the ceiling, looking at cables, making sure that everything was good, nothing was going to catch on fire, that there were no like loose cables. I was pulling cables. I was doing all sorts of shit, man. Honestly, kind of fun. Kind of fun. It was a lot of hard work and really, really long days, but it was kind of fun at the end of the day. So you'll never just do your job. You're going to do a bunch of jobs. You're going to pitch in on the ship. It's just how it works. And everybody picks up for everybody else. So it just is what it is. So even though you might think that you are just going to handle armory or you're just going to distribute food, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to be doing a bunch of different things. Oh, and also maintenance. Everybody does maintenance on the ship. You will have a screwdriver in hand, whether you like it or not. All right, this next question is favorite time period. Okay. I do want to say, first and foremost, vintage aesthetics, not vintage values. So before we start this, but I really, really love the 1940s and the 1950s. The music, I love the music. I love the fashion. I originally when I started VFleet, I was in the public Discord and you guys got to get to know me a little bit, and somebody actually asked me a similar question, or like what part of history I like to explore. Funny enough, I love exploring fashion history, just because I feel like fashion in itself and the way people dress and express themselves really talks to the time period and gives us more insight about how people were thinking and feeling during that time. And I don't know, I've just always been interested in the pre and post-war time period, and especially the fashion of the time and what garments were made out of. I don't know. I kind of found that out in high school when I took a fashion design course as one of my electives, and it wasn't my first choice. I wanted to do like wood shop, but they ended up putting me in fashion design. But I ended up finding out that I really, really love looking into that history and finding out what things are made out of and why people made things the way that they did and where wore wore the things that they did. So yeah, I would say favorite time period to explore is 1940s, 1950s, pre and post war. Our next question is, have you seen Epic the Musical? If not, would you consider doing a reacting video or stream to it? Absolutely. I've heard of Epic the Musical. I feel like this was Kat. Kat and I were actually talking about Epic the Musical. Oh gosh, this was a while ago. Not gonna lie, like 2-ish months ago. Anyway, I terrorized the shit out of my house with Get in the Water. My roommates were sick of me. Not gonna lie. Get in the water. But anyway, if I can find like a safe to stream production of it where we're not going to get copyright stricken to the fucking gods, then yes, we can absolutely do a reacting stream to it and watch it together. But if I can't, then you know, we'll just have to wait until there is something that is safe to stream where we're not gonna get copyright struck, copy. Brain no work. All right, our next question is, there are a few surviving parts of the first carrier Enterprise, her bell, anchor, and stern plate with her name to the most prominent. Which would be most interesting for you to visit? The anchor. I don't know what it is about a good anchor. I don't know. I don't know. Just like out of all that, I'm feeling maybe second the stern plate. But I don't know, I want to touch it. I know you're you're not supposed to touch shit like that, but I just want to touch it. I want to like receive the energy. Hopefully good vibes. Hopefully the good vibes, not the bad vibes, from the anchor. Just something about a good anchor. Maybe that's like really moto. I feel like somebody's gonna take that and make it into some super moto shit, but I don't know. I definitely would go see the anchor. What made you want to become a VTuber? Sorry if this is a frequently asked question. No, actually, I've only been asked this one other time. I'll be honest, before VFleet, I never would have thought that I would become a mainly because I guess it was more of like a finance thing for me. Models are expensive. There is no if, ands, or buts about it. Recently, there's been some like new customizable models, which are super cool, and it's making VTubing super accessible for other people, and I absolutely fucking love that. But also, in my past life, I work with a lot of veteran service organizations. I do a bit of campaigning and stuff for veterans, and for that, you kind of have to show your face. So, I just never would have thought about it. I am so happy I became a VTuber though, because one, it has allowed me to rediscover my passion for gaming. A lot of you guys have noticed that on my streams, I've said I haven't played this game in a while, and that is so true. During my time in the Navy, when I was deployed, and also after the Navy, I had kind of put gaming off to the wayside, like way on the back burner. And honestly, it's a little sad. It's a little sad. I used to be big into gaming prior to the Navy. I didn't have a lot of time. And then if I did have time, I would make excuses like I need to go do this or I need to go do that, or I should be putting my time towards this instead. And I get to support an absolutely fucking amazing cause. As you may or may not have heard me say, my ship will not be preserved. It's a nuclear carrier. The chances of it being preserved are slim to none. Just the amount of money it would take would be insane. And so the only way that my history, my shipmates' history, is going to survive is through the current museums, such as the Hornet, or the Enterprise, or the Intrepid, for people to learn about carrier sailors. I am also super into history, super duper into history. So if I'm able to bring that to other people and bring naval history to people who have never even heard of it before, but they know about VTubers, I feel like that's fucking awesome. And I feel like I am doing some good. And I absolutely love that. And it's one of the reasons why I love being a part of VFleet and bringing you guys maybe something that you have never heard of, or maybe you've never even considered visiting a museum. I hope you do. If you haven't, go fucking Google it now. Google. I'm waiting. We're gonna. I'll wait. I'll be like those teachers who are like, I'll wait. I'll wait for you to Google. Actually, yes. Do it now. Right now. Right now. Okay. But you know, for those who have maybe never even thought about visiting a museum, hopefully they go and they visit one of the museums and learn history and look at it and touch it, maybe. We're talking about touching things, and I like touching things. Okay, don't touch things you're not supposed to, by the way. But you get what I mean. You get to actually interact with the history, and I think that is so amazing. And I absolutely love being a part of VFleet, and I really love being a VTuber. Again, it's something I never saw myself doing, but I am so happy I've been given this opportunity, and holy shit, I've been having so much fun with it. All right. Why did you choose? If you didn't choose, tell us how you were assigned ship/plane to be currently under construction Gerald R. Ford class supercarrier CVN-80 USS Enterprise. Okay, so here is the motherfucking tea. So I didn't have, like, you know, the final say, but I had a lot of input with what ship I would end up being. And so the Admiral and I kind of went back and forth because I didn't really have super strong feelings about what ship I wanted to represent. I definitely wanted to be a carrier because I was a carrier sailor. And so I thought, you know, Abraham Lincoln would be cool, but, you know, I served on that ship. You know, not that I don't like her. Not that I don't like her, but it would be cool to be another ship or to learn about another ship or learn about a different class. And so we kind of went back and forth. And Admiral came to me one day and was like, listen, I really want NT. I really want NT. And I was like, ooh, okay, I'm listening. And he's like, okay, but I don't want just any Enterprise. I want CVN-80. And I was like, isn't she like -4 years old? At the time, she was -5 because I was waiting in the wings of VFleet about a year before I debuted. So, I was like, isn't she like still under construction? He's like, yes, but it would be fucking badass. And I was like, yes, it fucking would be. And so we decided, okay, we want to pay homage to CVN-6 and CVN-65, which my ribbon rack is made up of both of their awards combined and put in the proper order, might I add. I made sure that I put them in the proper order because I was not going to walk around here unsat. And I also felt really called to a ship that is currently serving or will be serving, just because I feel like I could help provide a voice to those who are serving. Given, I want to preface this, my views are not that of the Department of the Navy or the U.S. Department of Defense, okay? Let's just make that very clear. My views are totally separate and totally my own. We are not part of any part of, you know, government entities. But I felt super called to it because sailors now have a different struggles than sailors in the past, and I felt like I could be a good bridge to letting people know about what it's like to be a modern day Navy sailor and what it's like to work on a carrier. Maybe not a super carrier because I worked on a Nimitz class, but still, I could lend a voice, I guess. And especially now, since a lot of my friends are still currently serving, some of which did end up going to different carriers and are going to deploy. I love being that bridge and love being that that bridge between those serving and those who have never served but are maybe curious. So I'm glad I could be that, and I'm super happy being the Enterprise. Badass legacy, and I hope that CVN-80 is just as badass. My screen name is Jockstrap. Why do I feel like this is staff asking this? Oh boy. Anyway, my question is, what is your favorite port call? Oh god. You thought I wasn't gonna actually say it. Yeah, we're full sending it. Okay. We're full sending that one. Anyway, what was my favorite port call? I'm a weeb, so Japan. I spent 4 days in Japan and it was fantabulous. I had such a good time in Tokyo. We ported in Yokosuka. It took 2-hour train ride to get to Tokyo, and I stayed in Shinjuku, and we spent, my Liberty buddies and I, we spent all day out. So we spent from 7 a.m. when we were allowed out of our hotel rooms to midnight was our curfew, out and about doing things, and it was fantastic. It was also, I will say, the country was closed because it was still at the end of the pandemic. It was in 2022, and the country was still closed to tourists, so we got special permission from the Japanese government to go out, and it was crazy. Very, very cool country. I absolutely want to go back again because I feel like I didn't do everything I wanted to. I didn't do everything I wanted to. Went to so many neighborhoods, ate so much good food. Oh my god. Best food I ate was French toast, and it was in this little cafe that was in this couple's garage. Like their apartment was right above, and they had their like kids tricycles and stuff like still in their like little cafe that they had set up, but it was fantastic and they were lovely, that couple. Also, we had a really good ramen, obviously, really good ramen. And let me think what else. We did go to an izakaya that was open to gaijin, and they actually they kept it open for us. They were supposed to close, and they kept it open. The chef thought my friends were hilarious. My friends were very schmammered, you could say, which is the gentleman's version of hammered. That is a joke within my group of shipmates. Like they were schmammered, and but it was still a lot of fun. Second would probably be the Philippines, but I've been to so many places. I've been to Bahrain, twice. Oman, I was in Oman 3 times. And then let's see, Japan, Guam, Hawaii a lot. Made a lot of stops in Hawaii, and Philippines. I feel like I'm forgetting. The one place I do want to go that like kept getting canceled, I wanted to go to Vietnam. We were supposed to port in Da Nang, and we never did. And then I also wanted to go to Thailand. Obviously, Phuket, Thailand. We had log recs, or like logistics requisition, that type of thing. Essentially, when you pull into a port, we had them on 5 different occasions, and they all got canceled. And I would hurt myself, not gonna lie, because I would like Google things like things to do in Phuket, Thailand, and I hurt my own feelings. I want to go. I want to go so badly. If I were to pick a Europort though, probably Palma de Mallorca. I missed Palma. My shipmates went to Palma before I got to the ship, and they had a ton of fun, and they showed me all of their videos and their photos, and I was so jealous, so jealous. So yeah, I think those are like my 2 like want to go ports. But yeah, definitely Japan, because I'm a weeb. Well, sailors, that is all the questions that I have. If you have another question, again, you can leave it down in the comments. If it's short, I'll answer it. If not, and I've got a story for it, don't think I'm ignoring you. It'll just be put into the next video because I've got a story and I think you're gonna want to hear it. Anyway, sailors, let's do our Liberty Call. As per usual, our safety brief. So, Liberty Call, Liberty Call. Don't make a life, don't take a life, don't add or subtract to the population. If you're drinking, don't drive, and if you're driving, don't drink. And if you find yourself in jail, establish dominance as quickly as possible. And I will talk to y'all later, sailors. Bye.